Good afternoon, duskden2, because this is your username, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep, that is correct. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you, and thank you for making the time. So, you're one of the GeoGuessr Pro players. I'd like to know a little bit about you, so thanks for accepting to do this interview. Before anything
Yep.
else, what about this username? Where is it coming from? Is there a reference to something?
So the thing is, I actually used to have a cubing channel, a Rubik's Cube channel, and I wanted to come up with a username for that. So I liked the word dusk from like some songs which I had heard, and I generated a random username, and dusk then came up, and hence this dusk then 2 came up for GeoGuessr.
What's your time for solving a Rubik's Cube?
I average about 10 seconds, but my
10
best time is
seconds!
about 5 seconds. Yeah.
5 seconds!
Yeah.
Oh my god. I used to try and solve the Rubik's Cube. I was no way close to you. I didn't have the patience. I did learn a few of the algorithms. My nephew, he's 11 years old, has purchased through his dad, my brother, the latest. I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize they were like Rubik's Cube, which are so advanced to be able to, change
Yeah.
the combination super quickly, or magnetic ones even.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's doing. I believe I recorded him last autumn for 24 seconds, I think is his record. So
That is very nice.
five is
Yeah.
very close to the world record, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's what, 3.5 or 4?
Yeah, it's 3.47. Yeah.
All right, you know exactly, 3.47. Right, so
Yeah.
are you still practicing?
Yes, I am. Yeah. 1 hour every single day for the
1 hour
last five
every day.
years.
Okay, I have to repeat this. 1 hour every day for the past 5
Yeah,
years. What's your
that is
target?
correct. The target is to be less than 7 seconds on average and become the possibly the national record holder in India.
And what's
That is the
the record
target.
in India?
It's like 6.6 average, I think.
Oh, average. Okay, so it's an average of
Yeah.
what, 10 games of 10 cubes?
Uh, 5 solves, yes. So what
5 cubes.
happens is you do 5 solves, the best and the worst time are eliminated, and the mean of the remaining three is taken.
Got it. And you have to go somewhere to do this, like with a standard
Yes,
cube. Yeah.
to
Okay.
an official competition, yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Well. Oh, is this because I think your avatar, right? Your profile is featuring a Rubik's cube.
Yeah, it is correct,
I
yes.
just realized. I realized it's colorful, and I'm connecting the
Yeah.
dots. I'm not seeing right now. I'm just show it on the screen at the moment. But now I just realized I'm connecting the dots. Okay. Well, great. You see, we're not even talking about GeoGuessr. We're talking about you're just a national champion. So you're how far are you right now? Because 6.6 is the India,
Is the target, yeah.
right? The target. And where are you right now on the best of
So
5?
right now, my best average in a competition is 11.4, and that's because I've only been to like 3 so far.
Okay.
My plan is to go to more of those in 2023 and possibly get to like 9 at least within this year.
Nice. All right. Well, fascinating. I think I'll have to keep following up with you on this. Let's talk about you a little bit. 3 keywords or 3 numbers that best define you. And if you don't have them, anything really that you want to talk about. Who's duskden2? Who are you? Where are you from? If you'd like to share, tell us more about you.
All right, so Dustin 2 is basically very patient, very fun loving, loves to interact, and I am from India. I'm from northern India actually, from the plains, and yeah, that is me.
Where about in northern India?
Punjab, Haryana region.
Okay. I don't know the region that well, although I've been to India quite a bit. I've explained to you just before our recording, I actually work in a tech company and some of my teams are in India, but also travel to India for my own leisure because I'm actually interested with incredible India. It is truly
Yeah.
incredible. My first trip, I actually went to Delhi in 2010, took the night train to Varanasi, the night train from Varanasi to Agra, and then
Wow, okay.
I didn't drive around. I had, thankfully, a driver to go in an old ambassador car all around Rajasthan. So all the
Oh,
way from
wow.
Jaipur to Jaisalmer. So that remains a very fond memory. And if people don't know India, they should not be worried or scared. It's actually totally doable. Of course, you
Yeah.
have to be careful, maybe in some cities, especially if you're a single woman traveling. But otherwise, it's just a fascinating country. So just to say, I love India.
Yeah, like the regions you mentioned, especially like Rajasthan has such beautiful architecture. Even Varanasi, they have some great temples down there. It's just amazing.
It's not to dismiss the rest of India. I'm actually very interested to discover the rest of India. It's such a massive
Yeah.
country and such differences between north and south and east and west. So certainly curious to discover more. Anyway, we may talk more about this later on. Do you want to share how old you are, if you care enough, or anything that you're doing at the
I
moment in terms of
yeah,
studies or work?
all right. So I just turned 20. I am pursuing aerospace engineering at the moment.
Nice, turn 20. So when's your birthday?
November, late November.
What do you want to say the day specifically? Oh no.
No.
No, okay, that's fair. Okay. As I told you at the beginning of the interview, right? Anything you'd want to share, that's totally fine. Anything you want me to cut, I
Yeah.
will cut.
Because it's the GeoGuessr community. It doesn't take them. They don't take time to find stuff. It's
I
just too
think
easy for them.
I think you probably shared too much right now already between you, Rubik's Cube, where you're from in India, and your age. If you have any
Yeah.
second thoughts on something you want to cut, let me know.
No.
Right?
That much they all know. That much they
Okay.
all know. It's okay.
Okay, that's totally fine. Aerospace
Yeah.
engineering, that's fascinating. What is the target afterwards? Are you planning to stay in India to work for the Indian aerospace industry, or you have plans to go abroad? Because there's just
Um,
very few countries which actually have an aerospace program, I suspect.
yeah. So right now my plan is to possibly do a master's degree and just work for the Indian space research programs here only. But if I do end up getting the opportunity to, like, let's say, go to France or like Germany to pursue this, I'll be down. Yeah, why not?
Excellent. What led you to explore that field?
I have always been fascinated. Plus, I did have some knowledge during school time as well. So I was like, maybe this is something I can do. And the other departments or branches didn't really excite me as much. So I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Here it is. Yeah.
Very nice. Are you interested in going to planet Mars one day?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
100%.
Would you
As a matter of fact, me and my friends are building a theoretical rover for Mars right now.
a theoretical what? Sorry.
A rover for Mars, Mars landing.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
so you would be definitely down to be one of the very first explorers of Mars if there was like some habitation or something.
absolutely. I'll be the first one in there. Absolutely.
You want to be the first Indian?
Hey, that's a great opportunity.
Wow, that's fascinating. I don't know. I love the area. I love the area in general. I'm an engineer by background. I'm not an aerospace engineer, but I'm certainly fascinated by everything connected to space. So I found this fascinating. I think we could do an entire interview on this. By the way, we could do an interview on this later on.
Hey,
It could be in 6 months, in 1 year, or
yeah,
in
yeah,
multiple
sure.
years if we stay in touch. So I'm certainly fascinated. In fact, I'll tell you something that I don't share much.
Hmm.
It's not very. I don't know if it's very interesting, but the way I try to sleep, because I struggle sleeping, I'm a very light sleeper. The way I try to sleep is by thinking about what I need to do if I were on planet Mars to make sure that everything just works, in terms of breathing, in terms of protection from radiation, and the kind of habitation there would be, maybe hexagonal, like beehive structures where people would live
Right, right,
inside.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
connecting this a little bit with, I suspect you may have seen the film The Martian as well.
Yes, I have.
You
Yes.
have? All right. Of course you have. Uh,
Yeah.
so anyway, that's one of my tricks to try and imagine and force my brain to think about practical scientific engineering stuff. And then I try to fall asleep that way.
That
Anyway.
is fascinating. Yeah.
All right. So I'd say we're going to talk about GeoGuessr, but this is just fascinating. You already have two other topics completely unrelated, Rubik's Cube and the space industry,
Yeah.
which I think are just as fascinating. And we could also talk about India. But let's talk about GeoGuessr. What prompted you to start playing GeoGuessr?
So I think this goes for like most of the people who are in the community right now and are active. So we just look at some random YouTube video that comes up in our feed. We get obsessed with the idea of it and we start trading. That is it for me as well.
Well, obsessed, I think, is you're underestimating what you've actually been doing, because I checked your profile, which is public, obviously, your GeoGuessr profile. If I'm not mistaken, you
Right.
have played 10,108 games as of, I think, last night. You've
Yes,
reached level 151, which means you have played a massive amount. So obsessed, I
correct.
think, is an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, probably it is. Yeah, yeah.
How much do you practice, or how much do you play roughly every day? Do you have a sense?
Um, so up till like November last year, I was playing like very consistently, like maybe even 3 hours a day. But since then, it's been like I haven't been playing like way too much. But it's like if I get some free time, like half an hour or like 45 minutes, I'll just open a game and start practicing. Like that's it.
What happened since November? Because the GeoGuessr gods are not going to be happy with you if you start, neglecting them.
Yeah, that is correct. But I had exams, plus I had like some like a very low level of a burnout as well, I would say. I wasn't enjoying the game in its standard form as much as I used to. So I was like, maybe I need to take a break off of grinding. I'll just keep playing because I don't want to forget information.
Exams are a valid excuse. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about maybe the aspect of grinding versus having fun? Because this comes up regularly in interviews with the
Yeah.
different people I've had on this channel, and what comes up very often is that it's important to keep the fun, right, and not make it maybe too much of an obsession of either being competitive or trying to do anything else out of the game. Do you want to talk about your experience in terms of being interested, not losing motivation, and how you solved maybe that aspect since November in particular, perhaps?
Yeah, so yeah, I am very aware that this topic comes up a lot. Even in Discords, people are sitting around just talking about this same topic over and over again just because of how important it is. Um, I would say yes, having fun is the best part of the game, of any game as such. But when it comes to GeoGuessr, essentially, after one point, having fun is very, very similar to winning and getting better, which should not be the case essentially. Essentially, you have to play the game and and you need to have fun. But if you're just playing for getting good at the game and not having fun, that will at the end lead to a situation where you're not enjoying the game at all. And that is exactly what happened with me. So I just reduced the amount of games I play, the amount of time I put into the game, and just play the modes I liked and I enjoyed, and with the people I enjoy to play, basically.
That's totally fair. Are there specific game modes that you particularly like, or maybe some countries or game styles? No moving, no panning, no zooming, things like
Mhm.
that. Are there specific things that you go to by default?
Yeah, so there's like a diverse world no move country streaks, the standard stuff that I like a lot, because no matter like it doesn't matter how long you haven't played the game for. If you do this mode for like an hour, you'll be back. Your brain will be back and running. Also, I like the new 2v2 mode in Plonket. That by far for me is the best GeoGuessr mode of all time, and I have no regrets in saying that.
Is there anything you still find challenging in the game, whether it's a specific country or specific metadata, as we like to call it in the game, right? Like street view cars or antennas, or maybe road signs that you think, oh, I need to practice this a bit more because for these countries, I'm just a bit less familiar. Is there anything that you still find challenging?
Personally, right now, Europe is a bit challenging because no matter how many metas you know, at the end of the day, if it is a rural location with nothing but trees, you have to go off of instinct and your previous landscape knowledge. That is one thing. As for as for a specific country, I would say the big ones that you need to do too much research on before you can become good at them. So Russia, Indonesia, Brazil. I am decent at all of them, I would say, but I am yet to get to a good level at each of them.
What advice would you give to someone who just gets started with GeoGuessr today? Because I believe since I've started playing actively for the past 1 year, the average
Mhm.
level has gone up. And I say this because when I look at my ranking on the leaderboard, the GeoGuessr official leaderboard, I feel that for the same number of points, I'm actually down in the ranking. So I suspect that everyone has actually started getting better, especially as more tips and hints are being shared and people just memorize them. What advice would you give to someone who's a complete noob, a complete beginner, and they start today? And we don't want them to be demotivated. We want more and more players because it's more fun this way. What would you say?
Yeah, actually, you are correct. The level of just the average skill level of every single player in the past year has gone through the roof. Like the stuff a pro player, so to say, used to know 1 year ago, now a person who has played the game for 2 weeks knows as well. That's how much the level has changed. But okay, as for a new beginner, for a person who wants to play the game, get to learn it, I would say at first, do not focus on the competitive aspect of it. You just need to enjoy the game, keep playing, have people around you who know stuff and who want to help you, who can help you. Learn from them, learn from websites, learn from YouTube videos. There are so many great YouTubers you can learn from. I know people who are spending 2 to 3 hours every single day just so they can get a video out for the people who are new to the game. So that's the thing. And yeah, most importantly, just keep enjoying. That's what I would like to say.
You talk about YouTube. That's a perfect transition. Thank you for this segue into YouTube, because you're an active YouTuber yourself. I believe you have more than 100 videos posted, a lot or almost all of them on GeoGuessr. Do you want to talk about your
Correct.
YouTube experience and what is driving you to post and to share, and maybe what's your goal about the YouTube channel that you have?
So basically, I started around, I would say, September, October of 2021. And I was inspired by GeoGuessr actually to post videos. Because I was doing Rubik's Cube videos earlier, and I had some knowledge of how to make videos from that. And I had this new passion, so to say. So I started making some good guess videos, like some insane guesses compilations at that time. And like a tip video or two. It just started out like, I just want to do this. I don't know why. It started off like that. But as I started to gain more traction, as more people started to know me, I had to level up my content. So I started making everything I could, like tips videos, even started doing specific India stuff because no one knows anything about the India coverage. So someone has to make content on that. Started doing that. I even like made a song which was released like 3-4 days ago. I don't remember when that was released. So my idea is to make content around GeoGuessr that is not only helpful to people, but also kind of entertaining in an unusual way.
I'll put the link to your channel in the video description. So for everyone, please check out duskden2's video channel. What's your target? Do you have any specific objective with the YouTube channel?
Not really, not really. I'm just enjoying making videos, and that is literally it. I don't really have a target.
That's totally fair. And, it's just like GeoGuessr when we talked about having fun versus maybe having specific objectives. Enjoyment is also part of life. Do you participate in any tournament? I'm not sure I've seen your username, but maybe I'm not in all the tournaments. But is this something you're interested in? Competitions? And are you participating?
Yeah. So the thing is, I played in all the tournaments up till June or something. Almost all tournaments I played in. And I have to say, the tournaments have for sure taken the community to a new level. Because not only does it bring a new audience, it also gives the players a platform to showcase their skills that they have developed over, if not months, years. And yeah, it is a great thing. It definitely adds to the value of the community as well. But again, I've been busy with stuff, plus the time zone, so I just can't really play nowadays. That's why.
How would you like to see the community evolve, if anything? If there's anything that you have in mind in terms of what you'd like to see more of to get the community to be more inclusive of specific audiences? I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts around what you'd like to see happen to make it even more interesting for you and or for others.
Okay. So I think firstly, the game needs to expand even more. Maybe through more creators. Like Rainbolt had a Ludwig collab, and a lot of people from Ludwig came into the community through that. Also, Ludwig had like a GeoGuessr collab like back in the day, so a lot of people came into the community from that as well. For an example. So that is one thing that can be done. Secondly, recently, like only in 2022, there have been so many new game modes which didn't even exist in 2021. We never even imagined that these things could exist. But the devs are putting in the work, even the community members are putting in the work to create game modes of their own. So even more of those would be fun, for sure. And I would say Twitch needs to go to another level. Right now, Twitch is not in a situation, for GeoGuessr right now, it's not in a situation where it should be. A lot of people have stopped watching casual GeoGuessr streams. That is what I would say. Tournaments, yes, they get a lot of viewers. Yes, they get a lot of traction. People love to see them. Understandable. I would say casual streams need to be more common. and people should watch them and see for themselves how fun they are. That's what I would like to say.
Interesting. Thank you for your perspective on the game and on the streaming experience. Are there any locations that you'd like to visit in real life as a result of what you've seen on the Street View coverage as part of your gameplay? Because you've played so much, you must have seen some interesting or curious locations. Is there anything that stands out to you that you say, oh, I'd love to visit this one day, whether with my spaceship or a standard plane?
Yeah. So, yeah, the first on my list is Norway. I absolutely love every single bit of that country. No matter what region it is constantly beautiful. Like, you can't compete with that country.
You know, you're not
Also,
very controversial on Norway, because I think almost every single person I've interviewed, I think 80% of them have told me Norway. But that's fair. I agree with you. It's very beautiful imagery.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming you. And you were about to say something else.
Yes, Switzerland at number 2 for sure.
Is this to please me? Because you've watched the other interviews and you know I'm complaining if you don't mention Switzerland.
No. The Alps is like a whole different universe for me, because here we don't have anything like that. The Alps are just so fascinating to me, and I'm like, I have to visit them someday or the other.
You have the Himalayas, right? You have Ladakh, and you have
Yeah,
fascinating mountains.
There are some disputes going on with a certain neighboring country, so it's not that easy, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Any other country?
And, Patagonia, Chile and Argentina. Southern Chile and Argentina. Patagonia, yeah, for sure. Amazing landscapes there as well.
Agreed. All right, I think you have very good choices there. When you're not playing GeoGuessr, when it's not about GeoGuessr, what do you like to spend your time on? We talked about your studies, we talked about Rubik's Cube. Do you have any time left for anything else? Maybe watching movies or sports or anything else that you do?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I do like watching movies and series and stuff. I usually watch psychological thrillers and mystery movies, that kind of stuff. So yeah, sometimes, yeah. But otherwise, it's mostly studies and Rubik's Cube and that kind of stuff.
Do you have a recommendation for a film that you particularly liked? Either a thriller that you watched or anything that you stood out recently? Or not even recently, something that you really think this is one of the best movies everyone should have watched. You're not allowed to give me a space movie. I'm joking.
I'll think of a good one. I think people have seen the famous ones like Shutter Island and like Inception and Interstellar and that kind of stuff.
I don't think you should assume that, because actually I think a lot of the community is actually fairly young, so it's not that obvious that everyone has watched. You mentioned what? Inception, Interstellar, Shutter Island.
I mean, okay, those 3 are the top 3. In case anyone hasn't watched them, you have to. That should be your first priority right now.
I agree. And I'm not certain everyone has watched those. So these are your recommendations. That's fair enough. Tell me something, if there's anything that you'd like to share that nobody knows about you, that you haven't disclosed yet. Either a superpower or something that you think could be interesting, or something in your past or something you've done.
I don't think so, because the thing is, I've been in this community for almost 2 years now. People know everything about me. Yeah.
All right, that's fair enough. If you could have a gigantic billboard that you could put anywhere on the planet, what would it say?
Incredible India.
Incredible India. You're proud of India? Happy to be
Yes,
Indian?
I am extremely proud, yes.
That's fair. I think, as I said earlier, it's an interesting, fascinating country. I agree with it. Incredible India. So for those who haven't been there, I really recommend to give it a try, and especially since the country is modernizing so quickly. I was told when I went in 2010, which is not so long ago, when I was actually in the night train, there were other tourists who were going to India regularly, and they told me it had already changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Maybe I should not say what they told me. I'll say just for the sake, because now I'm teasing everyone with what I'm saying, but they told me back then, in Varanasi in the 1990s, you could still see the corpses in the streets. Varanasi, for those who don't know, is very special because this is a holy city with a holy, how do you say in English, Ganges River? How do you say in English?
Yeah, that's correct.
Ganges. And there's open air cremation, right? So you have to be very respectful, not take photos. But it's fascinating in terms of culture and religion, and how there's all this ceremony along the riverbanks. And even though it may sound a bit dreadful, like you have dead bodies, but it's a fact of life. We die. When I went there in 2010, it was, not scary at all. I mean, it was unusual and you had to be very respectful. So things are changing fast. So if you want to see traditional, authentic places, I think India remains one of those, and it's just fascinating and just so much diversity. Anyway, I'm probably advocating India more than you are, but maybe it's easier because I am not from India. Anyway, any final few words you'd like to share? Because we've actually already, the time is flying. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore our viewers. And we can always have another interview about GeoGuessr and additional stuff that you haven't talked about. But is there anything that is on your mind that you feel that we haven't talked about?
I'm glad that you're doing this, first of all, these interviews, giving the pro players a place to say their thoughts, basically, because this never existed and people were just sitting in their rooms and just grinding and grinding and grinding without any avail, without people knowing what's actually going on in their life, first and foremost. Secondly, huge thanks to Rainbow. Okay, people have been saying that the casual fun is gone because of the tournaments, but I would say, once again, tournaments were very important for the community. They have elevated the community to another level. And as for the third thing, sorry Phineas, but I banned you for content. You are unbanned now.
Well, thank you for all this. I think you had mentioned to me in the comments about the interview with Phineas around the ban. So that's great. I love to see the community being on good terms, and you're sharing a very nice perspective also to praise people like Rainbolt, who are trying to bring visibility to the game. And after all, for everybody who's watching this, you're free to watch or not watch a tournament as long as you have fun. I think that's the key message. I had one more question, actually. I'm just thinking, have you met any of the other GeoGuessr players in real life yet?
No, but I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to meet any of the 30, 40 people. I'm in a close circle, but I would love to meet any one of them. It's perfectly fine.
All right. I guess the GeoGuessr company needs to organize some World Cup in different cities or different countries and get people together.
Yep. That needs to be done for sure.
I believe they've received some investment just a few weeks ago. And the reason I know this is because I've looked up, I think, the Swedish news, because I was personally interested, since I am working in the startup world. I was thinking, there's an interesting segment here. And I noticed that they've gotten some investment. So if they're watching this, we know that you have some cash. So use it to good effect on the community. We love the game. We love you. We love the developers. So do something. duskden2, thank you very much for your time today. It was a pleasure to get to know you a bit better.
Thank you for the interview, Sebastian. Thank you so much. I loved this. Thank you.